and that their comments seem to be a little bit contrary to what was actually said by the Turkish head of state.
I mean, it's ludicrous, to be honest. You know what we're doing in terms of the coalition. And in fact, we're working constructively with Turkey, to lead those efforts. Turkey's a NATO ally, a strong partner in the anti-Daesh coalition.
Despite the fact that U.S. leaders say that these allegations are ludicrous, they maintain that Turkey and the United States still have a very good relationship and that they're still working together in alliance in the region. Now, these are not the first rather hostile words that have come from Turkey over the last few days. In the last couple days, we've heard allegations that the United States is not supporting Turkey in Jarablus and other areas in their operations against terrorism. Furthermore, this is actually not the first time that Erdogan has accused U.S. leaders of supporting terrorism.
Oh, America, I told you many times, you either side with us or terrorist organizations. You didn't have a good grasp on them, and that's why the region has turned into a sea of blood.
Now, on those previous occasions, Erdogan was referring to Kurdish forces that he considers to be terrorists. Now, on this occasion, he did name ISIL as being supported by the United States as well. Despite harsh words from Turkey, U.S. officials just continue their mantra that Turkey is an ally in the region.
The United States as a friend and partner of Turkey.
Turkey's been a strong ally for decades.
We believe Turkey's a genuine partner in destroying ISIL.
Now, it's important to place these recent comments in their proper context. Just recently, there was a meeting in Russia between the foreign ministers of Russia, Turkey, and Iran. They met, their foreign ministers met, and there's speculation of a kind of new coalition possibly being formed regarding Syria, and that the United States was not present at this meeting, at this high-level meeting regarding the situation in Syria, specifically the city of Aleppo. So there's talk of the United States possibly being sidelined, of Turkey, Iran, and Russia coming together, maybe a new coalition being formed. Nothing is exactly clear yet, and it's really unclear exactly what the comments from Erdogan, what they will mean for the unity of the coalition against ISIL terrorism that currently exists.
Separately, RT's been speaking exclusively with Iran's defense minister, who suggested that the US is not fully committed to defeating terrorists in Syria.
We have never coordinated our operations with the Americans, and we will never collaborate with them. The Western coalition is only fighting there in name. They have no real intention of fighting a war in either Syria or Iraq. Let's not forget how they bombed the Syrian army at Deir ez-Zor. We don't see any real willingness on their part to play a truly meaningful role in fighting Islamic State. They are the ones who have raised these terrorists in the first place, so all they want to do is keep them safe.
Well, the Iranians have very good reason to believe that the United States has never been serious in fighting against the terrorists, because its allies, we know, and it's quite open, that their regional allies, again, are supporting Al-Qaeda. And the United States is supporting groups that are aligned with Al-Qaeda. And Al-Qaeda and ISIS are really no different from one another. Therefore, the United States has not been sincere at all.
I think the United States is leading from behind once again, unless the Trump administration lives up to its promise to work with and coordinate with both Russia and Syria and Turkey to do away with ISIS. And it's very disingenuous, on the other hand, of President Erdogan to all of a sudden receive an epiphany that the United States is fighting ISIS when it's been a known fact for quite some time. And this goes back to at least 2012 when we were supporting all the Sunnis, including ISIS elements, to topple President Assad.
The Turkish leader's statement came just a day after Russian soldiers in Syria discovered a mass grave on school premises in part of Aleppo that was held by the militants until recently. Please be warned that you might find some of the following video upsetting to watch. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, most of the victims, which include children, were shot in the head. Many were found with body parts missing. Russia's military says the victims were subjected to torture before being killed. The rebels also booby-trapped many areas before leaving, with large weapons dumps also being found, as Murad Gazdiev reports.
When the rebels were forced out of eastern Aleppo, when it was retaken, liberated by the Syrian government, as they say, the rebels left behind plenty of surprises, and unfortunately none of them pleasant. The mines, for example, thousands of improvised explosive devices, booby traps. Now we're at a point where up to a dozen people are dying every day to these mines. These are civilians coming back home, finding their apartments mined. This is in streets, in various buildings, in offices, in basements, and it is taking a toll. The other surprise, with the mines being cleared, the other surprise is the mass graves that Russian and Syrian sappers have stumbled upon. And they found in these mass graves, according to the Russian military now, dozens of bodies, and all of those bodies either showing gunshot wounds to the head or signs of mutilation, signs of torture. Apparently, Nusra Front, Al-Qaeda in Syria, and its affiliated rebel groups aren't big fans of the Geneva Conventions. They have been torturing dissidents, torturing anyone they suspect of supporting Assad or even their relatives. Now, we've contacted the UN, we've contacted various other humanitarian groups such as Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, the usual lot, and strangely enough, they've been silent. Aside from the UN, we haven't heard anything from them. When a crime, when an atrocity is reported to have been committed by Assad, they're all over it. The Syrian government, the Syrian military, especially if you have the Russian Air Force involved, they're all over it. They'll come out with details, they'll send press releases to the press. When the roles are reversed, and it's the rebels that are suspected of committing an atrocity, of killing someone, of doing something wrong, well, you've got to knock on their door, and you've got to keep on knocking. Because just recently, we contacted all of these human rights groups about, for example, the shelling by rebels on Aleppo. I was there, I filmed it daily, kids torn to pieces. This was happening almost every day. They didn't care where they shot, the universities, schools, residential areas. Contacted them about that. We had to keep writing and writing until we got a big condemnation. Nevertheless, these are mass graves with civilians showing signs of mutilation, of gunshot wounds to the head, execution. Children's corpses there as well, according to the Russian military. So you've got to wonder, just how balanced humanitarian groups are being in the case of Aleppo.